Welcome to my channel. My name is Samuel and I want to make self-growth normal. If you want to make self-growth normal, because I don't want to do it alone, and who doesn't want to make self-growth normal, then make sure to smash that like button for the YouTube algorithm. It helps with ranking and SEO and all this other stuff, and I really appreciate it because so much work goes into making these videos. For anyone who wants to know, I am probably worse with some name pronunciations than people who are born mouthless, if they even exist. So I was originally convinced that the study of this author's last name could be more complicated and require more time, energy, and manpower to wrap one's head around than the psychology behind the subject of this book. So to save us all years of struggle, I looked it up. Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. This book is about the famous flow state, obviously how to achieve it and make it an everyday thing in your life. The author has been studying this for over 30 years. What is the flow state?
The flow state is where you make rap music, and you rap, and you're coming up with the craziest flows.
No, it's not. That's not what it is. It's when the work becomes the reward. The author found that people, during his childhood who were actually happy to be alive and help people to be happy to be alive during World War II.
And he got curious. He wondered how people were like that.
What made them so happy? Because you never know. What if there's a way to learn how to be happy? What if we learn how to be happy and experience fulfillment in everyday life? That would be amazing, even though we would experience bad, external, situations. That's the word. Now, I want to say there's something I wasn't crazy about with the audiobook. It doesn't really sound like a book. It sounds improvised the way it's delivered, which is usually fine, kind of like with programs like Kick-Ass by Mel Robbins or The Power of Vulnerability by Brene Brown, where there's a very live, kind of on-the-spot aspect to it. In fact, I actually try to script all of these videos out so you guys know I'm not trying to be some sort of a hypocrite, but the author has many and moments. And I don't know. Maybe I'm not used to it. I did get used to it the further I got into the audio version, but it's is this a book or a perhaps kind of planned out, slightly improvised exploration into the topic? Regardless, it was a great book. I figured the author recorded it in a state of flow. I don't know. But let's go over the 7 things every state of flow that we all experience has in common. One is clarity. You need to know what you're doing, specifically. How much of this is missing in America? It pisses me off more than most things today. 2 is immediate feedback. You know what goes wrong. You know what goes right immediately, right away. If I can't experience these 2 things alone, when I'm doing anything, it drives me insane. I will not tolerate it. Honestly, I find that if I do not have the first 2, I definitely will not have many, if not any of the rest. So to me personally, they're kind of paramount to flow. 3 is a match between balance and skill. 4 is a straight singular focus, because a lot of the time when you're doing something, even if you're good at it, to some degree you feel like you're on kind of a balance beam, you know what I mean? Between making sure that you're doing one thing but making sure that you're not messing it up with another. And I think that the times that we are not in flow are the times that we feel like we cannot keep that balance. 5 is that you get this sense of escape. What the author likes to say is escaping forward instead of escaping backward. 6 is you feel like you're in control and you're not kind of controlled by these outside forces or bothered by them. 7 is that you don't worry about yourself or what others think of you. And 8 is that your sense of time adapts to what you are doing as opposed to the opposite. I hear that most people don't experience this state of flow regularly at all. And that really scares me. When you're at the peak of your abilities, chances are at any given moment when you're doing it, you are experiencing these 8 things. And it's a phenomenal concept if you really think about it. I mean, something about it reminds me a little bit of being in the present moment, like Eckhart Tolle talks about in my 3rd favorite book of all time, The Power of Now. Also, this isn't something that you need to just enjoy with what you're good at, because it is about enjoyment. The author talks about how to apply it to things like walking, being in traffic, feeling bad about yourself, overwhelmed, anxious, etc. And also, of course, learning how to get better at certain skills that you don't really think you're very good at, like some of the ones I just explained. I don't know many people who are bad at walking. I also found it fascinating, chapters about strangers and friends and how to apply flow to those and maintaining relationships. To apply this concept to areas of life that are social or spiritual, or the author says money and financial is not a thing that there's much of a correlation that he sees, but I think that could be, like, if it can apply to everything else, I guarantee it can apply to money, especially if a skill that you have involves the management of money itself. Maybe that's just me, but it is really profound to think about, in my opinion. Like, it turns something that I find people speaking of primarily as a fundamental element of proper fulfilling skill acquisition. It turns that into this, like, philosophy, this perspective of life that exhilarates what we see as important. It's also the way he talks about using flow to decrease the impact of overall traumatic experiences, or how kids experience it when they're young and then school kind of suppresses it as time goes by. Like, you would not have expected anything to go down as deep as this. Like, it's one of those books where just the main idea is discussed initially, like in the first maybe, I don't know, like 10-15% of the book, maybe 25, and then the author's like, here,
This is how it applies to everything, so you can think of it even more in more ways. And now that you know what we know, here is more
brain food. I don't think my brain is full. Sometimes I think it never will be, and I hope that you can say the same. Is that a good thing? I don't know if that's a good thing. I hope it is. I think it is at the moment. The more I learn, maybe I'll change my mind and stop learning. I don't know. Quotes. Flow is like a magnet for growth. It pulls us to higher and higher levels of being, to increasingly more complex experiences. Don't expect fame. Don't expect money or a pat on the back. Don't expect a darn thing. Do it because you love it. Direction 1. I recommend this book to anyone, honestly. Anyone who doesn't enjoy what they do. And by the way, by what they do, I don't just mean their job. I mean literally anything, from taking out the trash, to drinking tea, to taking a shower, to urinating. But let's be honest, who doesn't enjoy urinating? Like, you know, get that weight off your bladder. Direction 2. If you like this book, obviously I recommend The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, but also Be Here Now, the Be Here Now talks, I think, if you're an Audible listener like myself, by Ram Dass. That stuff is crazy. It's a little
trippy if you think about it.
Flow by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. There's a link in the description if you guys want to check it out and read the reviews. That and all the other books that I mentioned in this video if you want to check those out as well. If there are any other books that you guys want me to check out and review, please let me know in the comments below. Also let me know if you checked out this book and you liked it, but hey, make sure to smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, because I don't get why people watch this far into my videos and they don't subscribe, but if you have subscribed and you want to turn it up just a notch and turn on that notification bell to receive a notification every time I drop a new video, that would mean the world to me. Thank you guys so much for watching, I really appreciate it. You can find me everywhere and I'll see you then.